Great. So thanks so much for coming out. We really appreciate it. Art's here to share his message of hope and sobriety for us. So take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm Art.
Hi, Art.
I'm a grateful recovering addict. I like to stand up, so
Okay.
yeah, totally. Thanks for being here, everybody, on a Friday night. It's good to be here on a Friday night, and where the places I used to be on a Friday night is such a better place to be for me in a meeting with other addicts, because I fit in here. This is my home. So just wanted to welcome all you guys, and how cutting and baffling this disease is. You know, you ended up here, right? And it used to be fun, right? You used to have fun, and turned into, started becoming a problem. At least it did for me. And so I'm just thankful that I have a new way to live today, because I was the guy that was jails, institutions, and death was my story. Not a lot of jails, but a lot of institutions, mental health, and I'd isolate my disease, and it was just like a bad place. I just had nowhere left to go at the end there, and I woke up in a hospital bed and overdosed, and 5 days later I came to. I shouldn't even be here, truthfully. So I feel like God, my higher power, whatever you want to call it, source energy, the sun, whatever, life, energy, gave me another chance to live. So when I woke up, I realized I had a problem. Like, I really saw I had a problem. I knew I had a problem, but I didn't know what to do about it. And when that overdose happened, it was basically a spiritual awakening that led me to come to a rehab and work a program and find NA and get a sponsor and all that kind of stuff. So I just was like so grateful that when I woke up, I had another chance to live. And I saw that very clearly, that I had to do something different, because what I was doing wasn't working anymore. And it was very painful, and I just wanted to kill myself, but I couldn't do that because I had family members, and I saw how selfish it is to kill yourself. And I just couldn't do that to other people. So I had to do something else. And my higher power had a sense of humor and woke me up again. And my mom was sleeping on the floor, and I was just all that guilt and the shame seeing my mom on that floor really helped me see that someone actually still cared about me, and it was my mom. And anyway, I could get into some history. That's just what brought me here, like truly that gift of desperation, we call it God, God, gift of desperation, led me to want to ask for help, because I didn't know how to ask for help. I was always the guy that knew everything, and I'm Mr. Smartass, and don't tell me what to do. I can figure it out. I'm really smart. But also, it's not so smart when you're doing everything alone, you know? And it was very challenging, because my life was always like built off my arrogance and my ego. And that's still one of my character defects today. It's something I have to work with and be honest about. Because I think I have some shit today, right? Being clean. So, I grew up in an alcoholic childhood, mentally ill mom, not emotionally available, a lot of abuse, just a lot of neglect. Most of my abuse is neglect, just physical, and a little bit of sexual, and a little bit of physical, but mostly it's just no one was around. My mom wasn't there, and she's still not there, and I'm still challenged with that to this day. I'm still working with her the best I can, but it's a touchy subject for me, because I want her to get better. But you have to want to get better. You have to want to stay clean. When you guys leave here, it's up to you to come here. I can't keep you clean. I can share some message and hope and how I did it, but unless you want to do it, you're not going to do it. So I totally understand that, and if that's your choice to do that when you leave here, go for it. I don't recommend it, but I hope for you, is why I come here, is to hopefully plant a seed of hope, and give you some kind of message that will be like, man, he did it, maybe I can do this, or he's got some nice stuff, I want some nice stuff too, right? Like, we all deserve nice stuff, right? So, give yourself a chance when you get out of here, take this stuff seriously, man. There's not a lot of people who don't make it out of this. It's like 5 to 10% ratio. If you're in here, 5 or 10 of you are going to make it when you get out there, and hopefully you don't die, So that's the fucking thing about this disease, is we don't know if we're going to make it. And what I do every day is just when I wake up, I say a serenity prayer, and I ask God for help, and I just like turn it over and help me like work with this disease, because it still tells me I don't want to get out of bed, you don't have a life. It still talks to me in my own voice, and it tells me, things that aren't true, that I'm all alone and no one loves me, and this is not true at all, right? But these are these narratives that can take me out and puts me into a mind state where I can make bad decisions. So, yeah, I grew up with my parents. I love them to this day. My dad got clean, which is good, but my mom is still mentally ill, and yeah, it's just a process, right? Working with my family, and I just set boundaries, and I kind of basically made a decision to help my mom here and there, and not like do too much, because I don't know if you guys know about enablement. If you do too much for someone, then you don't allow them to figure it out for themselves, and you're robbing them their gift of desperation, right? But she's just incapable to do things, so I'm over there taking the trash out, of cleaning up and stuff. But I still kind of have a hard time with it, because seeing someone live at like animalistic level is like really challenging. Ants and garbage, it smells like it just stinks in there really bad, and I can't keep up with it. So I'm working on getting into the process of helping out. But I went to a group home. I got kicked out of my house while I was getting in trouble. I was the class clown, blurring out inappropriate comments at school, looking for attention, right? Because I wasn't getting it at home. So I was acting out for attention, which is still something I struggle with. But I've gotten a lot better. And just like, look at me, here I am. I want to make you laugh, and I want you to love me, right? Like, and that's what I was doing with the drugs too. Like, I used to be a grower and sell weed and all that stuff, and it felt good, like people come over and see me, right? But it wasn't just to see me; it was also for something else, right? And I didn't really realize that at the time, but it felt good, and it started out with fun and going to raves and partying and shows and smoking weed and drinking and taking acid at Burning Man and all that kind of shit, But eventually it caught up with me, and what happened is I had unprocessed grief from my childhood, and unprocessed anger and sadness. I don't know if you know what PTSD is, but I have complex PTSD from my childhood, and I didn't even know I had it until years later going to therapy, and my basically came over to the court, emancipated, went to school for a couple of years, became a mechanic, and I quit for a while. I was abstinent. I didn't have recovery. I was really strong-willed. I could quit, but I couldn't stay quit, and I was always like using something else. I was never completely abstinent. I switched to alcohol, to mushrooms, or just pot, or just alcohol. I never quit everything all at once, and I thought I was not an addict, right? Because I couldn't stop. But the truth is, my disease was always there. I just didn't understand it until way later. My little brother died. They found him hung in jail. They killed him. They made it look like an accident, but they said it was a suicide. Anyway, it wasn't. They killed him, and I was mad at the government. I was mad at my brother for being in there, and I had a lot of guilt and shame because he ran away from a place like this, and then he got violation, and he was running, and I was like, dude, just go down there and take care of business, and I dropped him back off, and that was the last time I saw him. So I blamed myself for some of the shit I said, and I'd probably kill myself if I was in jail that long, and I said some stupid stuff like, I just didn't know better, and I didn't really mean that. I just speaking, just to make myself feel better, and I beat myself up over it. And what happened is I was in Clear Lake. I was already a nomad. I was, homeless, but I didn't call myself homeless because I chose to travel nomadic, right? And I was into hot springs and rainbow gatherings, and I'd go to festivals and help out and clean up, and they let me stay on their couch and take a shower, and I did that for 8 years. And about 4 or 5 years into it, they found my brother, and my world fell apart. He was my little brother. He was my favorite family member, and it really spiraled me into a really dark place. And I didn't know what to do. I just freaked out. I slept for 6 months next to my mom. And then my mom started driving me crazy when we started going into the anger phase, because there's the 5 stages of grief. And I'm an avoider too, so I run and I sleep, and that's why I was late. I was sleeping tonight. I'm always I was just tired and I wasn't avoiding, but sleep's a go-to for me. And I woke up, and my mom, and she was driving me crazy, and then I just hit the road, and I went up to Clear Lake, and I don't know if you guys have been up to Clear Lake, but there's a lot of uppers up there. And people kept giving me some drugs, and next thing you know, I was started using intravenously, and then became an addict real quick, basically, let's just say that. And I didn't know how to stop, and it got really animalistic. I had nowhere to go. I was in the side of in a van, the side of my dad's house, talking to myself, swinging sticks in the, just totally batshit crazy, talking to people that weren't there. You know, yeah, it just makes my mental health condition way worse. And then I stay up for days and watch porn and all this stuff we do, right? Like friggin' running around on a little tricycle and the stuff I did, you know. And then they put me in the hospital for a while for mental health because I want to kill myself. And they tried to arrest me. They arrested me a couple times for under the influence, and so it was just getting really dark. And then I OD'd, and I woke up in the hospital bed. It was like 3 years of really dark use for that moment of time after my brother died. And so lucky, it wasn't longer because I probably wouldn't even be alive. My higher power, I've always had a God of my understanding, but I just blamed God for my brother, and I was blaming God for all my problems. Instead of asking God for help, I was blaming God. And so God gave me what I deserved, right? Bugs coming out my skin, you know, friggin' burning myself with cigarettes on my chest, and like I was just a sadomasochist. I just loved pain, and what I was doing is covering my emotional pain with physical pain, right? Because that was easier for me to deal with, and it felt better than what I was emotionally going through. And I didn't know how to talk about my feelings because men don't cry, and I grew up in it, you know, pull up your boots and get going, get going, you know, and you can't show your weakness. And today I've learned how to do that. It's still hard for me though. It's still hard to get you know, like you can hear my voice cracking. I'm not gonna cry, but I'm crying, right? I'm just sharing that because I just have to get that out. I have a hard time crying in front of people because I'll feel vulnerable and like you're gonna use it against me. And I know that's not true, but it's still a narrative I'm working through. And I do cry today, and I did cry a lot in my addiction. I just didn't know how to express myself about why I was sad, right? And why am I angry? And why am I feeling this way? And I didn't understand. And you don't know what you don't know, right? You just don't know. And when I woke up, they hand you those paperwork to go to a rehab when you wake up out of the hospital, right? I've gotten it so many times. I usually just go outside and just throw it away. So something told me to hold on to it, and I went through it, and I slept another few days after I got out of the hospital. I was so messed up. And I had to go back and get my liver checked, my liver enzymes, and I'm lucky I didn't have to go on dialysis, basically. I had to go back and get checked to make sure my blood was good. And that's how bad it was. And it wasn't just like a little, you know, nod out and OD. I mean, I've done that a million times. This was like a full OD. They hit me with Narcan 5 times, and I didn't wake up, you know, so it was pretty serious. And I was like, this is serious. I either have a choice. It was very clear. I can go back out and use and die, or I could go to rehab and get help. And I had no other choice, basically, die or live. And I was like, I think I want to live. When I woke up, I was like, I want to live. This is not cool. After I tasted death, something woke up in me when I was out. It was just blackness for 5 days. I don't remember nothing. And my mom told me all the stuff that I was doing and puking, and she said I was talking in my sleep, and she told me all these things, and I don't remember any of it. And it was just really sad to be in that state. And when I went to rehab, I started finding support, right? Started reaching out to brothers and sisters like you guys, and getting phone numbers, and you know, I was sleeping in my van outside of the rehab, like I had nowhere to go, right? So I stopped hanging around the bars and the pool hall, and they said there's one thing you have to change, and that's everything. So I took that very seriously. I was like, okay, I'm gonna change everything. I deleted all the numbers. I got a new phone number, and started from fresh. Stopped hanging around all the places. I even drove around the places I used to hang out. Just in the beginning, I had to do that. That's how it was, because like it was too tempting to want to go check in on them, right? How's my buddies doing, right? And all that. Those aren't my buddies. Where were they when I was in the hospital? Did anyone show up? Did my dad even show up? No one showed up, just my mom. Most people didn't even know because I was so disconnected. And my disease took me to a place where no one wanted me around anymore. Even my best friend Ken, he also doesn't cry in front of people. He cried in front of me, and he's like, Art, you're not the guy I knew. I don't know who you are, but this is not my friend that I know. And he was being real honest, and I was like, man, this sucks, you know? And I wanted to stop, but did that keep me from stopping? And I could tell you 100 stories just like that were miserable, and you would think I'll never do that again, right? I'll never fucking do this again. And I did, right? Burned myself with hot oil with this fry thing, burned all my gear and the thing, and totally like, and freaking out. I'll never get high again. 3 days later, right? A week later, I'm getting high again. So it's the story of my life, right? I'll quit tomorrow, right? I'll quit tomorrow. Bullshit. It's the biggest lie I ever told myself, right? Bullshit. Come on, guys. Like, I'll quit tomorrow. Yeah. Anyway, so that narrative is like over for me. After going to rehab, I met my sponsor, Jimmy. He's a great NA sponsor. He, if you guys get out of here, I'm sure you'll get some great hugs. Probably some of you already know him. He's just really part of the fellowship, and he gives back a lot. And being of service is really important. Coming to meetings when you're asked to share. Like, I got plenty of places to be tonight, right? And here I am in a meeting helping carry a message, because Friday nights was my go-to, man. This is what we got. Friday, go out and party, right? So what do? I do the opposite. Everything they told me, do change everything. So I don't go out on Friday night, or I can go out after, right? I can go out now. I'm meeting up, and now I could go out and have fun, right? I'm gonna go house sit my aunt because I'm responsible, right? She depends on me, and I'm gonna go feed the dogs and take a shower and go to bed. Like, my life's really, really mellow and manageable today, thanks to this program, And I'm grateful that you guys are here, and you have a chance to live. When I see you guys here, we all have a new chance to live, and it's up to you if you want to do it. I can't tell you what to do. I can't make you do anything. I wish I could sometimes, but I realize it's not my business. It's not my job to make sure you stay clean. But it is my business to pick up the phone when you call. And it is my business to make some time for my recovery. And it is my business to stay clean today, just for today. That's all I have, is just for today. Because my brain tells me I got this and I don't need to come to meetings, and I got money in my bank, and I have a car, and I had 2 cars for a minute, and I have a cat, and I just bought a $1,000 hand pan just to play with. I love music, and I have money to buy whatever I want. I use all the systems to my best advantage. I'm on Section 8, so I can, right? I took my.
If you're not a player, I don't know what you are.
Took all my my defects, and turned them into assets, right? Took my hustling skills and I hustled the government, right? I'm still on disability. I'm working on getting off of that. I'm getting better. It's a slow process, healing PTSD. I also struggle with time management and waking up on time. And like 8 to 5 job just doesn't work for me. So I walk dogs and house sit, and I do like random side jobs, fix people's cars, and I'm kind of a jackass of all trades. I kind of just whatever I can do. I tell my clients I can do this and that, and then I just bring in it cash, right? So it's just a good way. I like to travel, and I'm going to Japan in November for my birthday for 3 weeks. Japan in 3 weeks, dude. Taking the bus and hot springs and climbing mountains, and I'm just gonna be chilling. I might come back married. You never know. I heard those Japanese girls are really nice. Yeah. So anyway, life is good today. It's not all like boring in recovery. The first year was kind of rough. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I almost relapsed a couple times. Oh, I'd like to mention this is my story. I thought I could drink, and I was drinking off and on for 9 months, and then 9 months later I was on my drug of choice, and it was just like, yeah, I can't drink because it just leads me to the bad decisions, right? Like, you put alcohol in you, you're making a different. You're changing your energy, and you're going to be doing things you normally wouldn't be doing. That's for your best interest, and that's why I stopped drinking. Because I don't ever want to do that drug again. I don't ever want to get high again. So it's the truth. I really don't. And that's a really good feeling. Doesn't mean I don't get high in my dreams. Sometimes I get a freebie, and I'm just like, cool. I'm not going to wake up. It was not tempting, and it wasn't that fun in my dream actually either. So even in the dreams, it's not fun. It's just something I did It's just in my dreams because it's what we did. How many years did I use, right? Most I used since 12 years old. So most of my life, I've been using more of my life than I've been clean. So it takes a while for these things to heal. And I'm grateful that I'm not in that place of despair anymore. I can feel a little lonely still. So what do? go to a meeting and talk about it, right? I come over here, oh, I'm lonely, and I even feel lonely in a group of meetings. I felt lonely at Burning Man with 80,000 people this year. You know, it's just everywhere I go, the addict is with me, right? I have to remember that, and so I go and talk to people, and I get out of my comfort zone, which can be despair and loneliness, and get comfortable by talking with you guys about what's going on with me. So it's not easy, and it takes practice. It becomes easier as you say. What I learned is like at least go to a few meetings a week for me, and that just keeps me in the process of growing. If I start like going like every other month or like not every month, I never do that, but like once in a while I'll just go to like a meeting a week, and that's not really ideal for me. It works, I stay clean, but I don't grow. So for me, I have to really work this program every day. Pick up some literature every day in the morning. I read the Just for Today. I do this prayer, serenity prayer, and I do some meditation every day, yoga, and my spiritual practice is real strong. And that ties in with this program. It's a spiritual program, not a religious program. So whatever you want to find for your higher power works for you. You know, if it's going out and hugging a tree, I love hugging trees, right? Like I'm kind of a hippie guy. I love going to hot springs, and higher power is really present for me in nature. And I don't feel alone in nature because I connect with the trees and the plants and the animals that walk by. You know, the bears, I say hi, I don't run. I'd be smart too, but like I respect all of nature around me, and I just have a relationship to it, and it's just a beautiful way I connect with my higher power. Then I also have a guru and other people that are in the fellowship that, you know, practice this spiritual thing. So that's just another thing that I found in recovery that works for me. I've kind of always been looking for a guru, and it's not myself, right? We have to be careful, because if I make myself the guru, then I got this, right? And my arrogance and ego kick in, and it's not a good place to be, because when I think I got this, that's when I really need you, actually, because I am trying to do everything alone and independent. It's isolated and sad and lonely, right? It's great for a minute, and like, you know, I get a job done. That's great, like independence. I'm talking, but I mean like asking for help, like getting a ride to the meeting, or like picking up a newcomer. Like I give newcomers rides to the BART station, right? They need a few bucks. They need a lighter. Like I have a little extra today, so I try to give. And it's none of my business what they do with the money, right? I just trying to help out, and if it helps them, help them. It's none of my business. Like I've learned to let go of that judgment, allow people to get what they need, you know, because we all need something. Our needs is why we use, right? And so I'm learning to honor that little boy Artie that's in me. Is like, what does he need today? And he usually needs a meeting and talk about my feelings, and then honor my feelings and stop eating cheese and like Netflix and porn. Like I still have addiction, right? It's just my phone. Like that's my biggest addiction right there. I'm not gonna lie. That thing, it does all my banking. I'm moving around money just to move money, just to make more money. It's just a game, right? It's addiction, right? It's silly, but it's cool. I'm making more money, but whatever. I have to like put it down and remember, like, recovery comes first, right? Because that thing will lead me into some dark places, Tinder, and you know, it can go off into some dark places. So I had to remove some apps, right, and just be in balance, because when we get out of balance, that using looks more optional. It's just like, oh, that I could just have a beer. That's how my disease gets me. Oh, it's hella hot lately, right? I just want a crispy, cold beer, right? I can have a beer, and I probably can have a beer, but tomorrow it might be 3 beers, and the next day, you know, and I'm off and running. So I know I can't have a beer. It just doesn't work for me. It's not worth it either to have to change my clean date. And I have to tell you, June 18th is my clean date, 2017. So, yeah. And then coming up on 7.5 years, something like that. June, I think we're almost halfway through the year from June. So 7.5 years, man, one day at a time. That's all it is. I've almost relapsed at least 5, 6, 7 times. I called my sponsor. I always like to talk about that. Reaching out to another addict when you're struggling really helps. Just like, if you get out of here and you don't have anyone to call, just think about that. Have someone to call, man. Have someone that you know that has some clean time, and like call them up. Hey, man, I'm over here at the bus and I'm fucking fidgety. What you doing? I'm struggling. You know, and just let them know where you're at. You know, maybe they'll come pick you up, take you to lunch, and you'll forget about it, right? Like, all it takes is like a 10-minute diversion sometimes, or 5-minute, like, hey, I feel you, man. I'm hurting too, man. I understand. Because sometimes we feel like we're the only ones struggling. And I don't know if about you, but if you're a human, you're probably struggling, man, because like we lose everybody. Everyone's going to die on us, right? And that's the facts. And we have a lot of grief in this world. We're always losing people, and the wars and the bombs and the war out there with each other, right? So I try to bring community and love wherever I go, and try not to focus on the media, and just remember, keep my recovery first, and keep the love and compassion in my heart, because that's what gets me through these hard times in the world in general. It's a hard world out there, and I'm just grateful that I have people I can trust and love, and that support me, and like will pick up the phone and listen to me sometimes, and I will pick up the phone for them. It's a two-way street, right? So I have sponsees today. I had one guy work to the 12 steps. What a powerful thing! Like to see someone grow and change. Like I really get to see the growth when someone's working the steps. Like it's really cool to have that relationship with someone, and like based on trust and love and the higher power that works together, we pray before we do the steps, and we invite God in and like help us to get honest and go a little deeper, right, into that uncomfortable part about ourselves, and have trust, and we don't judge. We just love each other. We all identify with all the weird shit we did. We're not unique, right? I thought I was so terminally unique. When I shared some stuff with my sponsor that I thought no one else did, he's like, oh, I did way worse, right? So, I'm not alone. I'm not alone, and I don't have to carry that guilt and shame anymore, right? I get to carry the message with him and get to pick up and be part of this like unity. That's what unity is, that ties us that tie us together, right? And that's stronger than the use of drugs for me today, because I'm staying clean, right? There's the proof. Calling him, picking up my sponsees when I'm tired and I don't want to hear it again, right? Like I do need to hear it, because it reminds me where I was when I was at step 7, right? Or step 8, making amends to people in person. That's rough, right? Like going to talk, make amends in person. How are they going to take it? Are they going to judge me? That step was really hard for me. But just remember, it's one step at a time. You start with the first step, admitting you're an addict. I'm probably sure, hopefully most of you in here can admit that you're an addict. If you could do that, you're working the first step already. So you're on your way to a better life. And I pray and hope that all you guys, I see you in a meeting when I get out of here. If you go to the Gilman, I'll be there on a Monday night, I hate Mondays, so I go over there, right? Fridays is my party night. I go to a Friday night meeting almost every night. There's an LGBTQ meeting in Lake Merritt in Oakland, 7 o'clock every Friday. I try to go there every time. And then I do Al-Anon, and I do Codependency Anonymous too, to help better my relationships, because I struggle with relationships. So NA's my home, but I do dabble in other fellowships I'm trying to better my life. So I want to do whatever it takes to better my life, because like the more freedom we get, the more freedom we want, right? Like I want to go to Antarctica. I want to go to Africa. I want to go to China. I want to go to India. So I want to travel the world. And how do I do that? I have to stay clean. I have to work this program, because without that, all the money goes, all the housing goes, like everything disappears, right? When I use. So I just want to do some stuff, and I also want to, wherever I go to meetings. There, get on my phone, and I can go to an NA meeting. I have a whole fellowship in Florida when I go to Miami for Love Burn, and I have a whole fellowship in Utah. Like everywhere I go, I build a little fellowship, and then what do I have? A place to stay, someone to go eat with,
Right.
like go hang out after the meeting. What are you guys up to? A lot of times they're busy and stuff, but it's nice to have someone to go to. And this fellowship is worldwide. You can go to anywhere. There's no excuse you can't get to a meeting. So when you get out there and you say, oh, I got high, it's like, yeah, because you didn't go to a meeting, guys, or you didn't apply what we learn in here. And I'm talking to myself too. It's really easy to like rest on our laurels and forget about what brought us to this awakening, because this is a daily process. It's not just one day you work the steps, you got it, and you're done. I thought that's how it worked. I worked through the 12 steps, I was done. No, I'm working through them again, and I'm working through them again. And every time I work through them, I see another layer of myself that I wasn't able to see yet because of denial, right? First step, don't even know I'm lying. And as I work to see what those feelings, at the root of those feelings, it's mostly my mother and my abandonment issues is mostly what it is. So I'm picking women still to this day that are unavailable. They're psychotic, right? I sure know how to pick them. So we're trying to do better and not act on that, because I'm lonely, right? And I want to fill that void. And it's comfortable because that's what I knew growing up. But it's not comfortable because I know in recovery what love is today, from loving myself and finding self-love through doing the mirror and looking in the mirror and loving myself, and eating vegetarian now and cleansing and like I drink like purified water. Like I'm very healthy today. And that's how recovery goes. Like we start taking out the drugs and we start wanting to eat better. We want to start exercising, start running on the treadmill, right? Like taking care of my body because it's important. It's like a temple, right? And so I'm just glad you guys are here. I think that's enough out of me. I'm running out of stuff to say, but this program works. You keep coming back and you'll stay clean. It's what I've learned and what I've seen, and I just hope you guys keep coming back because I want everyone to have the freedom I have. Like I want my mom to have the freedom I have. Like I can't even explain. I'm writing a book. It's almost done. I'm writing a book and publishing it. Right? I've been talking about this all my life. I'm actually doing it. Getting out of the fear and putting myself. And it's called Spiritual Recovery. And when you guys get out of here, if you want to look up Spiritual Recovery, it's on WordPress. And it's just basically a wisdom of my recovery and my higher power. And it's like me communicating with my higher power through words, basically. And it's just a real beautiful thing. And it's kind of poetic, but also kind of recovery based. So yeah, I hope you guys see you out there and love to be a service with you and help each other grow, man, because that's what it's about. We're here to help each other, and that's what this program's giving me. So thanks for allowing me to share.